tapping. Tap into your purpose. Tapping. Check it. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. We tapping into purpose. Raw purpose. Raw purpose. We tapping into purpose. Raw purpose. Raw purpose.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Zay.
Happening, it's your boy Rashad.
And this is the Raw on Purpose podcast.
The Raw on Purpose podcast, where it's all about being the raw, real, and authentic you while helping you tap into your individual and divine purpose. And it's all about the conversations that we focus on, just on helping you tap in to that best you through your divine purpose and your raw, authentic energy, right?
That's right. So we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to us. You can find us on Instagram at Raw on Purpose _, Facebook Raw on Purpose. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel, Raw on Purpose Podcast. And you can find us on all streaming platforms. If you have any questions, concerns, any topic ideas, any thoughts, or you would like to be a guest on the episode, hit us up, rawonpurpose@gmail.com. We got fire for you today. We have two beautiful ladies in studio with us today. In the building. So
Again.
we have April and then we have Sonja here to give some weight to this whole conversation about independent women. Right? We've heard so many voices talk about what is an independent woman. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a title that that ladies should strive for? Like, what is that about? So we got some ladies to join us for that one. And just so you know, we are in our marriage and family. So the reason why this independent woman's conversation is important because it impacts marriage and family. It impacts how ladies are in marriage and how they mother and how they are wives, how they are women. Those are the three areas in which God put in them. They're women first, or they're women, they're wives, and they're mothers. And then if you're not a mother yet, you're a daughter, whatever fills that space. But that's how we kind of do what God does. So we just want to dive into that real quick, have a good conversation. So without further ado, let them introduce themselves. Ladies, hey, how are y'all doing?
Good.
How are
you?
Doing good. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm April.
What do you want us
really
to say?
it. Just April.
Just April? Okay.
What did April do?
I don't know. What do you say?
April does a lot, but right now April is trying to follow a purpose and maybe do a little bit of clothing creation. So if you want to check me out, you can check me out on Etsy and search Tough TUF Love LUV Creations.
All right.
Nice.
Dope.
I'm Sonja. What am I doing right now?
Yep.
I am a manager in operations management, but I'm also in real estate. So if you're looking for a realtor, you can follow me on Instagram, I guess. It's Sunny Cartel with an O and 2 N's.
Yeah, you better tell them what your plug. You never know.
Right.
Never know.
I'm in
Let me-
Atlanta
Right.
metro area.
Right. She's a HBCU graduate from
And
Clark,
I am
Atlanta.
The Clark Atlanta.
Yep. That's my little cousin. I can tell y'all some embarrassing stories, but I won't.
And he won't.
That'd be a whole different podcast. But ladies, thank you guys for joining us. We greatly appreciate y'all coming in. I think
Thank
you
you for
guys
having
have
us.
different things to add to it. You know, young, thriving women. I know April, you're a mother, right?
I am. I'm a mother.
How many children
I
you
have
got?
4 children. All of my children are, I have 3 young adults and 1 teenager.
It's
So
true,
they're
y'all.
not-
Don't think she's lying. Like this is not
They're
cap.
not-
I don't believe her.
Kids, babies, like they are like, I have switched over to that different part in life. I'm still a mother, but I'm now like a life coach too. So,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
That's important.
That is. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because it's sometimes moms seem to have a hard time with that transition.
Yeah, I just happen to not be one of those mothers.
Mm.
I love my kids very dearly, but I think it's a part of the way that my mother raised me, where she kind of allowed us, she talked to us about life and then allowed us to experience it. She was not a helicopter mother at all, but she did love us, but she showed us she loved us by preparing us for the real world. She didn't sugarcoat things, and I love that. For me, I am not a helicopter mother. I want my kids to experience everything life has to offer. And I hate to say it, but none of us want our kids to have to experience the bad things, but they're going to come. Nothing is perfect. I am not going to sit here and say I am a perfect parent because I am not. There's no such thing as a perfect parent.
Right.
And my kids, they're perfect in my eyes, but they too have their flaws. Um, I mean, but literally that transition over from being a mother when your kids hit that certain age, you do literally become, in a sense, like a life coach to your kids.
Yeah.
You don't stop being a mother, but you definitely have to throw one another hat at that time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's. I know for my mom, it was an interesting transition because like she still wants to try to parent, and it's like I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially now being married to take care of my own family, it's like I don't need that from you. This is what I need, and it's like her not, sometimes struggling to understand it. She's getting better at it, but it's always interesting, um, going through that whole process. So when we talk about, like you said, we're talking about independent women, the good, the bad, the ugly. When you guys hear like independent woman, what comes to mind? What thoughts? Uh, what do you hear?
I mean,
Yeah. I, it,
Have
it,
you ever been?
people
Have you ever
well,
been
yes,
called an
I've
independent
I
been
don't
woman?
like
called.
when people
I
say
have
it,
been called an
actually.
independent woman,
Yeah.
and
I don't like it
for a
sometimes.
while when I was younger, it was like
It was a good thing.
it was because it was
It was like a
empowering, right?
compliment.
Like
Yeah.
you come from out of your parents' house and you like, oh, I'm
Oh, she doing
independent. I'm doing this
something.
by
Look at you.
myself on my own, and it's
I
great.
don't need
And you can't tell
nobody.
me nothing. I don't need
That part.
nobody, and and then you mature, and that independent title, it starts to look
It's
real
like a slap in the face.
like I like not being in my parents' house, but I'm gonna need you to help me do this because nobody can do everything. Everybody, I don't care what nobody. Everybody needs some type of help.
I don't,
For sure.
Yeah, I don't like the way it's used in society sometimes. Like people try to use it as if it's a badge of honor for doing something or overcoming something that probably shouldn't have happened anyway, possibly.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, even though he did this to you, you still worked the job and you still handled your business and did what you needed to do, made it through, and you're such a strong, independent woman. It's like, it's like okay, like,
Right.
you're
And it
dragging
seems like
you're
independent woman like follows strong.
right,
A strong, independent woman.
black.
And
Definitely.
always strong black.
Right.
Yeah.
Independent.
Strong and black.
independent, like it's
Right.
always that.
It's the connotation that
That
is
stereotypical
used,
strong.
yeah.
Black, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, why do you think? Why do you think that title gets? First, why do you think that that's such a badge of honor today? To be, I'm a strong, black, independent woman, right?
I guess because black women have had to overcome so many things. And because we've had to overcome so many things, um, I think a lot of black women see it as if they're not that way, it's weakness. Like, I can just speak to also how a black child is raised and how, well, I'm going to just say how we were raised because I feel like a lot of black parents, as myself, we decided to try and raise our kids in a different manner.
Hmm.
But I was watching All Rise, and one of the cases was Hispanics. Like I didn't know that Hispanics dealt with the same things Black deal with,
Mm.
like as far as not, the mental health issues.
Mm.
Back
Mm-hmm.
then, in the Black community, nobody talked about any of their family members that
Yep.
had mental health issues because mental health mean weakness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
with that being said, it was you was raised. I was well, I'm not you, but I was raised like don't ever let nobody see you cry. That's just that's a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
People can do this, so it's like whenever I had hard times or hard issues, like nobody ever seen me weak. I would do my crying when I would work out on the treadmill with my hoodie on, or when I was in the shower in my car. But my kids, they never seen me cry. My exes, they never seen me cry. It was just that thing that we held in. So because Black women have had to overcome so much, not just within our community, but others outside of our community. So when a Black woman achieves something and she does it on her own and she goes through trial and tribulation, it's like, oh, she's a strong Black
Yeah.
independent woman. It's like all of those are thrown together,
Yeah.
and it makes it seem as if, and let me be honest, whether people want to admit it or not, everybody has had somebody help them through that strong Black independent journey of, what it is, those titles that they put on us.
Yeah, exactly. Other people put it on us. They make it like it's a trend or something.
Yeah.
Like when other people accomplish these same things, possibly not the same way we do, but when they do that, no one gets called those same exact adjectives or used to describe them or anything. Like, why are you, what is it about us that makes you feel like you have to use this specific thing as a compliment? But it's almost like an underhanded compliment when
Yeah.
I hear it from other people. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a guy at, years ago. I mentioned it because, again, it was like that great title for me. And he was like, why do Black women have to be strong Black women? And
I
I
don't have
kind
to
of,
be.
at the time, it was like gun ho. Like somebody
Yeah.
tell me that, I thought that was a compliment, and I was offended. Like, what do you mean? Because I'm out here
Yeah.
doing everything
Yeah.
on my own.
Because
Like, what do
it's
you
not,
mean?
it's
Why am
not
I
that we're
strong?
not.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not,
not
and
that you're
I'm,
not
I'm
strong.
not even saying
You know.
that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I think it's how it's used in context.
Yes, and the reason
sometimes.
that they're
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah.
saying it.
It's not a bad thing to be on your grind, like most people say, or basically it's just really success. So it's not
Yeah.
even really strong,
That's a good word.
independent, but
That's good.
it's just really success. Success at whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life.
Yeah.
Rather it be if you're trying to get your mental health together and you've achieved that, or you're trying to reach a goal and you've achieved that, if you're trying to go to school, whatever it is, it's just really success.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the enemy has done a great job of dividing men against women to where and it's crazy cuz it's if you listen to it, when you're in your between like 18 and probably I would say 27, right? You're all about I'm a strong, independent, right? And then it's like it's because you don't understand life, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then you start getting punched in the face by life
Yeah.
at around 27,
Literally.
28. And you're,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
then you're like, yeah, I don't know about this whole independent, strong. Like I'm sitting here trying to hold it together, and then because especially some people they've championed that, and that's been their life throughout that time period. And then when they're sitting there struggling and nobody's there to help, and it's like, well, it's because you said you were strong. You said you were independent.
It can
Yeah.
definitely be. It can definitely be lost.
Right.
After that, I will say.
It's like I
can
don't
for
need
sure.
no man, and it's like, okay. So what happens when you catch that flat?
And yeah,
I mean,
the
you don't
flip
need.
side on that too.
Right.
The flip side on
I
that
mean, there's
too
ways
is
to get it done.
that strong thing also that is put on Black women. It also, when you think of strong, when you were a kid, and your teacher said strong or you thought of strong, who did you think of?
Typically Superman.
Or just a man in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Strength,
so
yeah.
when you're adding strong, independent black woman, I feel this is why so many of the stereotypes about black women continuously throw around
It's
that
a masculine
for some
thing.
reason
They're trying to
we
make
don't
it,
need a man. And I'm not. Let me not even go down this rabbit
I
hole
was
of
like,
this
it's
need
deep.
thing, okay?
It's a deep hole.
But I'm saying that in general because when that's thrown around to a woman, and I've known, white women to kind of embody that same thing, or women of other races, I'll say. And it's kind of like if it's anything of that type of woman, especially in this day and age, like men is like, oh, she don't need nobody, or she don't need a man, and I'm sorry. I'm tired of changing light bulbs and doing everything
I do think
on my own.
I do think they are taught differently. They're raised differently when it comes to relationships. So I don't know if that's the reason why we're seen as in that light, because we're stereotypically the household without the man in it.
Yep.
So even if they are a strong woman of another race, for some reason they have this foundation of still relying on a man for something.
Yeah.
Right.
Understanding that this is the man's role in this. And in our household, it's like, this is our role, this is our house. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to handle this.
Yeah.
And it's a very masculine, embodiment.
Because from what statistics are showing is that majority of the people, like criminals or people in lower income areas, are raised by single mothers, right? And then even here in April, you said, did your dad raise you?
No, my mother.
Right. So, and then I know for you, both your parents, right? So it's like more people have the story of one parent, typically the mom. So it's like that's all they saw was their mom getting out and getting after it. And then it seems as though that the daughters and the sons are raised differently when the mother's raising, right? It's almost like, and I could be wrong, but it's like the daughter is raised to be that strong, independent, right? And then the son is raised.
Can't even wash his own clothes.
Right.
The son,
Yeah.
the
The
son
son's raised like a king.
It's raised coddled.
Yeah.
And,
What is going on?
I am in a sense having to deal with that, but the difference is here is all four of my kids were raised me and their father. And I have four total. My two boys are the oldest, two girls are the youngest. My oldest son is the exact opposite of any of that. He is like, we used to call him Pop Pop because he always had that, was very mature. And right now to this day, got out, works, pays all his bills, don't ask for help, feels like he needs to be the one to show how the other kids behind him, because he is the oldest of like six or seven, because his mother has some. He's my bonus child that I'm talking about, but I raised him. And so, whereas my youngest son, you would think that he was raised in a different household than the rest of my kids. He's completely different. He is one of those entitled, and I have absolutely no idea where he gets it from, because my two daughters, 14-year-old, straight A's, works a part-time job. I don't have to work her up. I don't have to do anything. She does it all. My oldest daughter, she has disabilities, but she goes to Georgia State, works a job that's the same thing. But I have my son who has that, and I don't know where he gets it from. And it's
I don't know if it's a bad thing.
And then no, he has to walk through life.
Thing.
He has to do that, but I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying this in a token to where I see women that I know that does that to their sons. And I had to say this one time, and I will say it again. The same women that are doing this to their son are the same women that talk about men that say
Act that way.
they need to get they together,
Yeah.
but you are
It's a
literally
cycle.
doing to
Yep.
your son what their mothers
Yep.
did to them.
Yup.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Sorry.
Cycle.
She just read that whole family.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy thing about this whole war is that again talking about the strong, independent black woman, right? And it's like, yeah, when Father's Day comes, the mom's like, yeah, I'm the father and it's like, well, no, you're not, because if you were the father aspect of that, we wouldn't be in the poverty. Our kids wouldn't be going to prison at the rate, because if the father's not in the house, there's just a level of discipline, right?
And that's statistically.
Statistically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Statistically, you talk to criminals, it's like my dad wasn't there. So it's like, okay, strong, independent black women, y'all are doing such a great job raising your children, right? And I'm not throwing off on, because there are exceptions to the rules, right? There are some mothers that have done an amazing job raising their kids, but it's like, and then even those moms be like, I did it all by myself, and it's like, you can't even say that for the simple fact you had teachers that helped your kids, you had daycares that had to take care of your kids, you had neighbors that watched out for your kids while you were, because I could say, even coming out of a 2-parent household, like, we still had neighbors watching us. So my parents didn't even do it themselves. The community did, right? So that's why this whole idea of independent woman, right? And then if you ever notice, there's never a conversation about independent men, right? We don't, like, there's no celebration for men that are single fathers. They're not independent. They're just, oh, that's your responsibility, right? Like, but it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's both sides' responsibility. Like, yes, let's champion the moms, but let's also champion the dads, because they all have an equal role in raising the children.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't want to take away um, from the role that single mothers play, because let me be honest, and me and Rashad have had this conversation before. Being the only parent there, when I tell you, even though you have a village, it still does not compare to being the only parent there.
Right.
It is still a fight. It is. And, even though my kid's father was in their lives and still is to this day, we did split apart, in the middle of my kids being raised. And it still does not compare. It is still a tough job, even when the other parent is in a life, in the child's life. But I say this to say that this is why I say to women completely, if the father is going to be there, and sometimes it can be difficult, let him experience raising that kid.
Right. Remove your feelings from the
Like,
situation.
literally. Let him experience doing that, because your kids wasn't born with you being a perfect parent, and you had to learn.
Yep.
So let them learn as well. And I say this, lighthearted. Cisco, live your life. Let him babysit them kids. Okay? Let him,
Take
not,
that
sorry,
vacation.
sorry, not babysit. Let him take
Watch
care of
his
his
own
kids
kids.
while you live your life, sis.
Yep, I agree.
Amen.
Really.
I agree. I mean, my sister is a single mom, and watching her and trying to be like, through the pandemic, we all lived together. So kind of trying to be the father figure for my niece. But I know it's not the same as the dad being there, right? I've seen the behavior issues, and I've seen things, and it's like, you can't, even like god brothers or little brothers that I've been like the father figure for, and then you watch them still make mistakes, and it's like, yo, like, I've lived a life to show you, like, this is the example. And then it dawned on me, it's like, you can't replace their father, right? And like we said, like, there's like moms, you gotta let the dad be the dad. Like, even experiencing having my first child, and my wife's always trying to it's like, yo, like, that is my child too. You gotta let me parent how I parent. I let you do what you do, let me do what I do, right? So even segueing into like as we're raising children in marriage, how does the idea of the independent woman kind of conflict in terms of what marriage is, right? So I'm about to say a word that triggers a lot of women. And I like to live life
Are
according
you
to
smiling?
to what Scripture says.
Okay.
And it says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church." And then he goes to women and he says, "Women, submit yourself to your own husband." Right. So now,
That's
so the whole independent woman thing, and then having to submit. Right. First of all, why do you think that the word submission is such a trigger word? Like, why is it like you hear submit and it's like somebody just stuck you in your rib, hit a vital organ, and turned it to where you like bleed out? That's like the response.
I,
Submission used to be a trigger word for me.
yeah, I'm not
Submission
triggered.
is not a trigger word for me anymore, mainly
Yeah.
because when you change the type of people that you allow in
Speak
your
on it.
life,
Let's speak on that.
okay, you start to get a better understanding of certain things. Submission is not scary because submission is never scary when it's given to the correct person.
Yeah.
So submission is only scary when you're dealing in drama and mess. And
The
you know
unknown.
that person does not have your best interest at heart. And I had my pastor once tell us, you know what love is? Love is when you love someone more than you love yourself. So sometimes you often do things that's not in your favor, but in their favor because you love that person and you do not want to see them hurt. So submission does not scare me at all.
Yeah. I'm not triggered by it, but I think it is a control thing.
Mm.
When it comes to submission, it's like saying you don't have control in a certain situation, or you feel like you don't have control over yourself if you're submitting to someone because you're giving someone like power over you, or you're being vulnerable to the fact that it allows someone the ability to hurt you. And that thought process, because people have been consistently beat down in the past to get to the point of meeting someone where you're willing to submit to them, it's scary. So that word can make you feel out of body. Like why would I want someone to have control over me? I feel like that can be the thought process in it. But it's not triggering. I don't know if it's just because if that's a stubborn part of me or if it's just like understanding the male role in the household, you know.
So I have a question. So why is it just conceptually, why does it seem like more so in the Black community that submission is more of a trigger word or something that feels like you're losing control compared to other racist and ethnic groups, as far as like how the women submit to their husband? Like you said, April, like what is the worthiness
Because we've been
of
let down for too
submission?
long.
Like what makes a man worthy of submission? What are those things?
Okay, that's 3 different questions.
Okay,
So
mainly.
first of all,
Like break it down.
things that was built up over hundreds now of years.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we're not. It's not going to be broken in our day and age.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
just
that's
go
the-
there,
that's our
okay?
reality.
Like we know, and everybody can hop around. Oh, that was hundreds of years. Let me tell you something. Epigenetics is real.
It'll
Okay.
work.
Things being passed down is real. You know, just like mental illnesses can run through families and all of that. All of what we've been through is in our blood and our DNA. So in the Black community, you know, that sense of fear because hurt has been put so many ways. We were all put against each other, and in reality, like not even a full decade ago, it was always the lighter skinned Blacks against the darker skinned Blacks. Like, and right now we're still being put against each other.
Yep.
So with that being said, we have never had our communities be built on trust. And I think when we was at our strongest, which was coming out of slavery and Jim Crow and all of that, somehow all of that died down because, again, I'm going to go back to our grandparents, and this is not far, we talking 1 to 2 generations ago. How many of y'all know black men that had 2 households?
Yeah.
And we talking about
Yeah.
like 1 to 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, the black relationship lasted so much longer. And in honesty, like, women had to depend on men for everything. You could not do it on your own.
Your name and stuff.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
So
There's no
you
way.
had to stay in order to survive survival mode.
Yeah.
You had to be married. It was you had to be with a man. So when it comes to black women not being able to trust, that's because this is what we've seen for so many years, and we've seen it just in 1 to 2 generations removed, which is, I mean, I know for a fact what my grandparents went through. No, my grandfather didn't have a whole nother house, but I know that he did do infidelity. And a lot of people, I know so many people born from men that were married.
Yeah.
So, again, like, the trust, that it is just so much trust. And because women, once a woman is burnt, one time I've watched this with my sister. When a woman is burnt once, after they have put everything, it does something to them. It really, really does. I have seen it happen to too many of my friends and my family members. It does. When a woman gives her all and she is beat down because a man has taken advantage of that, it turns them. It's like almost like they go to another side. And some of them never recover and they never come back. And again, that's the other thing with the stigma of not going to get help, to recover. I mean, being hurt in a relationship is the same thing as experiencing a trauma.
It's
if you
very
were
traumatic. Yeah.
in Iraq during that time, or if you have any type of PTSD or around it, it's the same thing. It's a trauma, and we needed to get help. But because they don't, we do what most black people in our community do. Push it down, get up, tie up her bootstraps, and keep living life and act like it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. You have anything you want to add?
She said majority of what it is. Honestly, it is rooted in trust.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get caught slipping consistently at that. Like,
that trust.
If you see it, if it's happening, if it has happened to you, come on.
You're afraid, which is, the reason why I think relationships aren't.
And then it sets you
like
back.
they are now,
It sets you back. You get caught slipping. You submit to someone. You, like you said, you put your all into something, and then that can mean trusting them with different parts of your life, because you can be independent in very many different ways, even in a relationship. But if you're codependent, or if you're with that person, you're submitting to them, you're allowing them to have say or portion in a lot of things, and then they lose your trust. It's like starting over.
Yeah. So here's the other part of the question: What are those factors that make a man submit worthy?
And there's no way for me to be like, oh, he needs to do
for you
this. I don't have it. I'm just
okay.
Because I'm a spiritual person, and I go off of people's energy. You're gonna know.
Same. Yeah.
When you have completely set and stepped back in your life, and you have figured out who you are, and you have figured out what you want, because most people go into relationships and they have no idea what they want. When you have done all of that research on you, okay? We're not talking about money. I'm not talking about anything that's tangible. I'm not talking about any like sex or anything that makes you feel good. None of it. When you know what you want, and you are spiritually connected with yourself, and you are now putting your energy and is spiritually connected with that person, you're going to know. Not everything has a list of items that can be named as to what it is that makes somebody feel.
For sure.
Because whatever, just like you just said, whatever makes me feel comfortable, or whatever I feel like I need in my relationship, she may not need in hers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and so, but there is no list. For me, it's like, there is no list. Like,
okay.
What does a man do?
Now, what energy would make you be more in a submissive standpoint? what is it about that man that will just make you be like, okay, is it like his consistency? Is it him like kind of keeping his word? Is his like his
Reciprocity.
character?
You
Like
already know
anything
it's
like
consistency because these men and
Yes.
consistencies nowadays are dating is just like thrown out the window. Okay, you can't keep that. I mean, I don't know what it is to make like keeping the tension.
But I understand because
to
I
me,
can't
but-
say I'm the most consistent person with, when it comes to dealing with other people at the time. But I definitely
Okay.
would say reciprocity.
Yeah,
Like,
I
mutual
definitely would say
energy.
consistency.
Yeah.
I will go on consistency and just I guess feeding into me and when that comes,
Yeah.
it's just like the supportive role, um, spending time. One of my love languages is quality time, and
Same.
it's quality time. You know why? And this may sound selfish of me. I would like for people to give me the one thing that they can never get back, and that's your time. When it's gone, it's gone.
Yep.
And if you can give me something that much of your life, of yourself, that is a start to
Priceless.
me wanting to literally,
Yeah.
you know, be submissive to you or start to give more of myself.
So you said reciprocity.
Yeah.
Go into detail. Like, why is that important to you?
You just don't want to feel like you're doing something by yourself. You don't want to feel unbalanced or unequally yoked, if we're going to take it to that point. You don't want to feel like you're consistently doing something for someone or being present in a certain moment and that person is never meeting you there. It's like you're just showing up by yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. What and as he said, how does character play into that? Right? So, reciprocity is one thing. Giving somebody giving you time is something else or is one thing. But character, what role does that play in a person that you're willing to submit yourself under?
a person's character is everything to me. I don't like to speak of my own character. I like to for other people to figure that out about me. But I think it determines how you move, like the type of person you are, the type of decisions you make, how you treat other people. It lets me know like who you are and what you would do in certain situations, and it's all telling about every single thing. So it's very important. It's at the top of the list, I would say, for sure. If there was a list, but said list. But character is important, yeah.
I had something in my mind and then it went out. I mean, I don't know. I do so much of watching people around me and people in my life. So my energy guides me a lot, y'all. Like, I don't even pay attention to a lot of like physical things. I feel everything before I physically pay attention to it. So
Okay.
if a person's energy is not good to me, I will literally just walk away. But as far as like character go, I could just speak on what I'm dealing with now, and
I want to feel it. Like
Yes.
look, I'm an empath too. I feel like
My
you're an empath. And I feel like I need to
like-
feel in that whatever
like
you're
mine-
feeling right now.
it's just it's little things that build up to just knowing, y'all. Sometimes some things is hard to just explain. And it's like one of them things that is like difficult for me to explain. Not that I know what the character is, or whatever, but I feel like, I don't know, I just feel it with people. It's energy for me. I can't explain it. Like, I can't. And I have very great people in my life, but it's not one of them things that I guess I sit to try and explain, but now you're going to have me at home in
That's
my head
awesome.
at night.
Thinking, what is it? What are the words?
Well,
put in more, yeah.
If he can put it into work.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's
Look, my therapist would give me a wheel. This is the emotion wheel.
Yeah,
How
right.
does this make you feel?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
Yes.
That's good though, and good. I'm glad we're planting seeds to think about, and for you that are listening, seeds to think about. Like, when ladies, we're talking about you being independent, you being strong. When it comes to when you meet that mate, what is it about them that makes them worthy of you submitting to them, right? So, we're gonna take a brief. Actually, the conversation is going so well. We're going to do a part 2. So you guys want to make sure you stay tuned.
Come back.
Right, for part 2.
Number 2.
So, ladies, we appreciate your time. We will definitely see you in part 2. They will be back.
Yeah.
You guys have enjoyed them. Let us know. Hit the comment, hit the subscription button, notification so you don't miss a thing.
Yeah.
Again, you can find us on Instagram at Raw on Purpose _, Facebook, Raw on Purpose. Find us on YouTube, Raw on Purpose Podcast. And then we are streaming, we are streaming on all streaming platforms, Raw on Purpose. And you can email us at rawonpurpose@gmail.com. So if you have any thoughts, anything, please let us know.
Yeah, independent women, drop some stuff. We want to hear from y'all too in the comments. So definitely chime in, please.
That's it. So until next time, it's your boy Zay.
And it's your boy Rashad.
And we're here with April and Sonja. Till then, this is the Raw on Purpose Podcast.
That's all right.
See you next time.
Tap in.
Tap into your purpose. Tapping. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. We tapping into purpose. Raw on purpose. Raw on purpose. We tapping into purpose. Raw on purpose. Raw on